Australia 2012. In a high-stakes court case, a mysterious figure is called to the stand. He is the world's biggest gambler, and the net is closing. It has been for years. That's how long they've been trying to stop him, chasing him across the globe, the casinos, the betting companies, even the government. And now his secrets are on the line. It's not just his identity or the billion-dollar rags to riches life he's worked so hard to build, so hard to keep quiet. But the incredible system which made it all possible. If people knew, it would change the way they bet forever. For 30 years he's walked the line between genius and obsession, between legit and illegal, between being Robin Hood and robbing John Doe. Feared and respected, he secretly controls a huge chunk of world gambling. But now, potentially, he's about to lose it all. 1983, Hobart. The backwater capital of Tasmania, Australia's island state. It's fair to say that not much happens, but at least now there's a casino, Rest Point. In it, a young man, a student, is enjoying himself. The 23-year-old is the son of Croatian immigrants. Hobart is his hometown, the place where he, like his parents, started with nothing. Life has been tough, disadvantaged, but he believes that if you keep your head down and work hard, you can achieve anything. He's a bright kid with a talent for maths. He's even earned a scholarship at the University of Tasmania, where he's studying banking, tax and finance. But money's tight, so when he can, he earns a few extra bucks working part-time down at the casino. Mainly, he helps out with Keno, a lottery game, but right now he's on his break, earning a few more bucks. He likes to play blackjack and he's good at it, suspiciously good, because this young man's cut his gambling teeth by learning how to count cards. And soon, he's earning more on his break than he does in his job, and his bosses don't like that. When he loses his job and gets banned from the casino, through a solicitor, he asks why. He says, "I've considered the rules of blackjack and I would be pleased if you could let me know on what basis the application of card counting to the game of blackjack has been ruled unnatural play." And he has a point. If you're playing a game where success requires you to beat the odds, it's natural to chase an advantage. And in him, this frustrating incident has created a revelation like no other. There's no turning back. Our man is now obsessed with advantage play. He wonders, could this be applied to other forms of gambling? For clarity, advantage play is where a player uses legal methods within the casino rules, like card counting, to exploit innate characteristics of a game. To the casino, the advantage that card counting gives a player over the house is unfair because memorising cards enables them to stack the odds in their own favour when it comes to betting on a hand. But is this any more unfair than the advantage the house maintains? Punters just aren't supposed to win. But for this young man, with only a few dollars in his pocket, a plan is starting to take shape. There's money to be made through maths, but he needs a secret system which answers one simple question. How do you gain a proper advantage and win bigger? By 1985, he's outgrown his hometown. So along with his girlfriend, Shelley Wilson, who he met at the casino, and his best mate from university, a maths whiz called David Walsh, he heads to mainland Australia, and in particular the boomtown Sydney. But rents are high, and the buzz of the blackjack table gets to him. So before long, he packs in school and starts counting cards full time, teaming up with David and another respected player, Alan Woods. Soon, he's been banned again, but this time it's from every casino in New South Wales. So next, he drives north across the state borders to Queensland on the Gold Coast. There, he heads to the state's first newly opened casino, the Jupiter. However, his reputation precedes him. He's refused entry on arrival. The casinos are closing ranks, using systematic checks to ban regular winners. As the head of security reveals, he has his own dedicated file. His real name is Željko Ranjek, but in the files, they call him the Joker, and he's been banned from all casinos nationwide. The party is over, for now at least. But really, this is just the start of something so big that even Željko couldn't imagine. It's time to take his advantage play to a bigger arena, and when it comes to casinos, there's none bigger than Las Vegas. So the Joker moves in the shadows and grows his team. Always, he sees strength in numbers. His plan is to pool resources, work together and reduce the casino's built-in advantage. It's not long before higher stakes at more blackjack tables lead to bigger wins. Once more, his reputation is growing. Who is this guy? All the time, he continues to learn, looking beyond the blackjack table. First, he looks to poker, and then to other casino games, and even sports betting. He's developing strategies, analysing potential advantages, and fine-tuning his knowledge consistently. He wants to find something bigger, far bigger. And while the Joker's in Sin City, he's preparing himself for the next step, because the casinos of Vegas won't keep losing forever. Sure enough, they fight back. He's under surveillance and starting to face all kinds of problems, such as frequent shuffles to disrupt his counting. So he branches out to Chicago too, a mob town, and he knows it's risky. Getting the winnings home isn't easy either. When it comes to big bags of cash, the customs people treat it like drug money. They naturally assume that he must be some sort of criminal. And then, disaster. A car crash. One of his team is killed instantly. Heartbroken and with the writing already on the wall, he's racked up a massive amount of bands in Vegas and Chicago. It's time to head home. It's now that he'll rethink and start again. There has to be a better way, a more profitable way, a way of winning big without facing all of these issues. Little does he know, he's about to find it. It's 1994 and back in Australia, he's banned from all of the casinos. It's depressing and he feels defeated. Sat in a pub with his best friend one day, they discuss his quandary. And then it hits him. The answer is sat right in front of them. It's as if everything before was just a training ground for what happens next. It's time to up the stakes and change the game. To Keno. It's the game that gave him his first experience of gambling, back when he worked at the Rest Point Casino. Now Keno is a lottery style game played in casinos and tab betting pubs. The tab is a totalizer or tote system of pari-mutuel betting. All bets are pulled together and payouts are determined by the size of the total pool and the number of winning tickets. In Keno, players select numbers from a choice of 80 on a Keno card. After placing their bets, 20 numbers are drawn randomly and the total prize money is divided between those 20 numbers. So winning numbers selected by fewer players are therefore worth more money than winning numbers selected by more players. Back at the Rest Point Casino, Keno taught him that when you're working against an advantage, you need to find your own. He studies the game pool sizes and probable combinations. Over time, he develops a new strategy based on the likelihood of payout versus the potential winnings. And now, leading his latest syndicate of close friends, he's ready to give it a try. It works like this. First, they wait for an inflated sized betting pool, relative to the odds of winning. And then, they buy enough tickets to ensure that they own the majority of the payouts. Because they have most of the tickets, it's more likely that they'll win more than anyone else. But the numbers are carefully chosen too. There aren't any complex computer algorithms at the time, so using good old-fashioned analysis, they pick the numbers most likely to come up and least likely to be selected by other players. And then they bet big, really big. Mostly in the tiny Wagon and Horses pub in Hobart. Over 18 months, they bet around $64 million. The result? They win 40 Keno jackpots, pocketing a whole lot more than they staked. Each time, the margins are small, and it doesn't always look like a success. On one record jackpot of $7.5 million, it cost them more than that in their initial stake, all of which was wagered in the North Ryde RSL club in Sydney's suburbs. But it all confirms what the Joker already knows. By spending in the right way, you can control the game and leverage an advantage. But how does he turn that advantage into a profit? A guaranteed profit. That's his secret. And he likes to keep secrets because it helps him maintain control. However, the Lamborghinis, penthouse apartments and celebrity meetups are starting to draw attention. And it's not just journalists that are watching. What happens next brings it all out in the open. Behind the scenes, the Joker, Jelko Ranjerk, changes his name to John Wilson. Wilson being his wife's name. More smoke and mirrors. Because it's time for a fresh start. He's laid the groundwork, he's built up a huge betting bank, and now he's ready to play for real. With a small team of trusted partners and their funds too, he calls them the Bankroll Punters Club. And this time, they'll be chasing the big money. Global horse racing. He privately assembles an elite team of analysts and mathematicians. There are rumours about the extraordinary questionnaires applicants are given to test their skills. He doesn't employ anyone directly, and many of them won't even meet their fellow work colleagues. It's an overseas operation that will run 24/7, acting in a similar way to his Keno operation. So non-disclosure agreements are signed and a code of silence is agreed. A code which, years later, under oath, will be revealed in full. Soon, the money that he and his syndicate are earning is staggering. A book labels him the biggest punter the world has ever seen, and the top racing pundit says he has no challengers. But he remains elusive. So rare are his sightings that even some journalists dub him the Loch Ness Monster. He knows that secrecy is paramount for this to work properly. He's not on any rich list, so no one knows his true net worth. But just from a few of his assets, adjoining clifftop mansions worth $20 million in Mossman, Sydney, a holiday place up the coast in Wimborne, and a place in London's One Hyde Park where apartments go from upwards of $90 million, his rapidly growing wealth is clear. Meanwhile, his right-hand man David Walsh is doing okay too. Back in Hobart, he builds a $70 million museum to house $100 million worth of art. It's drawing serious attention to the tab, and the Australian taxman is watching. Many on the outside are wondering, where is all this money coming from? His team of 300 analyse racing through computer, video and mathematical analysis to find the right bets. Then, once again, they wait until racing pools reach a specific size, and then, as before, the syndicate wagers massive amounts of money and wins big. It's a trick they've repeated many times before with Keno, and now they've adapted it to betting exchanges and prize pools everywhere. And it's not just in Australia either. If the right bet is in Japan, France, the UK, Hong Kong or Russia, so be it. The numbers are mind-boggling. And that's before you find out the real secret to his success. It's 2008 and Željko Ranđelik, aka John Wilson, is in federal court as he sets out to recover funds owed by a former associate. In order to explain his claim, he must explain the real reason he can't lose. As a big player, Željko brings betting liquidity to the market. Now the betting companies love this. Liquidity refers to the amount of money available in the market for placing bets. High liquidity means that there's a large volume of bets being placed, leading to more competitive odds for punters and bigger profits for the betting company. Plus, it makes those headline grabbing jackpots even bigger in the news. The Bankroll Punters Club, astonishingly, account for 6 to 8% of all Australian betting on Tabcorp. It's worth about $700 million per year, and as much as 33% of all betting on Betfair's exchange. Željko's value to them is huge, because basically, he is the betting market. It's alleged that he's offered an office on the top floor of Tabcorp's HQ and that he doesn't pay the $250,000 super tax which Betfair impose on other big winners. But the real sweetener, dished out to most valued customers of all, are rebates. And this is why he's been being so secretive. Rebates are when a betting company gives you your percentage of your betting money back. A spokesperson from Tabcorp once said, "It's common knowledge that rebates are offered by totes around the world to high volume customers." They don't like to say any more, but here, because the legal case was about recovering rebates from an ex-syndicate partner, Željko is happy to. He's getting 10% back. That's a 10% rebate on all of his Tabcorp bets. His system, combined with money back, means a massive margin of guaranteed profit. It's very simple, he tells the magistrate. If you bet $100 and lost $5, but you get a 10% rebate, you still make 5%. You always win. Now, if a betting company always loses to a big player because of these kickbacks, that shouldn't make sense. And in fact, Tote Tasmania, through which the syndicate earned over $52 million across 3 years, with a staggering 85% of that cash coming from rebates, is forced to close. But with any well-run betting company, that won't happen. Instead, they simply manage the situation to their advantage. The large number of bets the big player makes, and the kudos they bring, attracts extra business from ordinary punters. And if that doesn't cover those costs, then those ordinary punters pay the price directly, in the form of reduced odds. You see, this is how Željko has negotiated the ultimate advantage. His syndicate are called Bankroll, and they are literally bankrolling the platform. They need him as much as he needs them, if not more. And when the magistrate asks Željko how much the Bankroll Punters Club turns over a year, he answers, "My guess would be $1 billion. The magistrate can hardly believe his ears. It's 2012, and to the ordinary punter, the rebates seem unfair, and that brings heat. But the real problem, the one Željko is always worried about, is that with these numbers now in the public domain, the Australian Tax Office have decided enough is enough. They've been sniffing around for years, but now it's clear that there's so much money in play, hundreds of millions of dollars, that understandably, they want more of. You see, in Australia, money won from gambling on horses is not liable for tax, unless you're operating as a business. From Jelko and his syndicate, the line is clear. It's a hobby. The Australian Tax Office say maybe, but they're conducting it in a business-like manner. The Tax Office are determined, but Jelko ensures that he retains an advantage. It's clear he's earned billions, but any business it may resemble is concealed by a maze of different companies and that code of silence. Documents reveal that right from the start, if the Bankroll Punters Club are asked about winnings, they should simply say no records are kept, therefore it's difficult to estimate turnover or profit. We'd prefer not to make a guess. And fair enough, after all, it's just a hobby. Plus, Jelko knows that if the Australian Tax Office taxes past winnings, they'll have to tax everyone else's. It's a can of worms they're simply never going to open. After a court-ordered mediation session, a confidential settlement is agreed. In 2017, new Australian taxes were levied at bookmakers. Of course, the bookmakers just swallow them up by adjusting the odds in their favour. All the punters pay the price, but amongst those worst affected are big players placing large bets on small margins. So in the same year, Jelko moves to the UK to operate out of the Isle of Man, a tax haven. Today, he's rumoured to live in the UK's most prestigious address, 1 Hyde Park, London, where apartments are now selling for $170 million. He drives a $600,000 Lamborghini, as seen online, and treats his wife and daughter to the best of everything. Despite those who tried to stop him, the kid from Hobart won, and he carries on winning, and his wealth continues to rise. He remains one of the most powerful men in the world of gambling. Thanks for watching, please subscribe.